My name is Nathaniel Bailey. I'm known under the BOP number as, 00873-103. But by my peers, I'm known as Nat. My homies, Nat. Anybody else? Nathaniel Bailey.
So Nate, let me ask you a question. What is the history of how the BOP treated DC co-defendants in the federal system?
That history is so shady on the part of the BOP because they were biased toward DC co-defendants. They didn't exercise institutional policies to benefit DC co-defendants, as well as the protection that they supposed to provide of DC co-defendants. And it goes all the way back. At first, before I became conscious of the fact that I thought it was more or less they didn't like DC co-defendants because majority of men came out of DC co-defendants. At first, I thought it was because we were stand-up people, stand-up men in the system, because really all the blacks used to gravitate towards us because we would stand up. We was direct to the point, straightforward, and didn't really go for nothing, for real. So all the blacks, gravitated towards us for that element of security, so to speak. Don't get it twisted, because we had blacks, that was men all over the nation. California, North Carolina, New York, Philly, New Jersey, name it. You got men came about in the towns, but it was very few. It's just that our numbers was large, and it goes all the way back to Alcatraz. See, a lot of DC co-defendants don't even know their own history in the BOP, and our history is solid. It was solid. It was valuable. Because they had a lot of substance to it. We talk about a substance, how a man should conduct himself under certain conditions. Now, with that said in mind, the system didn't like us. They didn't like DC co-defendants. And from that point of view, I used to always look at, that point of view as the answer to my question why they treated us like that. But it went beyond that. Through my experience, I started gathering more information, as to why. They're never tell you why. But the information that I gathered was the policies they had in place for our treatment. They could abide by those policies, or they chose not to because we weren't protected like other prisoners was protected. If I came from North Carolina, I can write my congressman if the BOP didn't treat me right, according to the policies that they supposed to treat me. Those were the options that people from other states had. That's their protection. You see what I'm saying? And that goes all the way back to Congress. Come to find out, through my own investigation, as to why the BOP was treating me like that, is that I found out that we, as DC code offenders, being contracted out in the BOP, which they were making money, a lot of money, that I wasn't even protected by the laws of this country. If you really look at it, say, man, okay, do I have a sitting representative in Congress that can protect my interests in the district? They didn't have that. because we don't have no representatives from the district. And that goes all the way back to the policies that they was exercising for my treatment. That DC, the government, the DC Council, the government of DC, was paying the BOP for my own treatment. Now, they treated me, they tried to treat me the way they wanted to treat me. And the stand-up men that they was treating like that wasn't going for the treatment, yeah, they stayed locked down. They stayed to say, man, he was corruptible, how they put it. That means he's beyond prepared, you know. But no, it wasn't like that. Those individuals wasn't beyond prepared. It's just that, man, they wouldn't allow no one to treat them any type of way, irregardless where they was at. That's all. That's all it was. Man, I'm not gonna allow you to treat me any type of way. Okay, yeah, I'm in this structure right here. You know, I'm in this system right here. You know, and this is how this system operates. You know, for what? For my rehabilitation? That's what it's supposed to be for. The policy was based on for my rehabilitation. Okay, I go with that. You know, but it went beyond that. The same way they accused us of manipulating the laws, that what got us there was the same policies they was manipulating for my destruction. That's what I found out. You know, so DC, they treated DC co-defendants different from all other prisoners. You know, like I said, men is all from all over, but we had many men, not band together. We talking about individual men that even though they was incarcerated, Leavenworth, Atlanta, Lewisburg, Marion, Long Park, all these institutions they had, penitentiaries they had, you know, for us, for our transformation, behavior transformation, that even still the brothers wasn't going for it. So I can speak for me. You know, that's why we found ourselves in places like Marion, control unit in Marion. Now they have built places like ADX, you know, but before Marion they had Alcatraz. You know, once you cross that seal, once you cross that line right there, that means that means they can't control you. You know, your behavior is beyond prepared. You know, that was their second quote unquote, you know, death row, because that's all it was. In other words, they sent you up there to be killed. I mean, bottom line. You know, in other words, man, we cannot, this guy here or these guys cannot be transformed. We're not talking about, you know, just DC so-called blacks or DC co-offenders. You know, they call us DC blacks. That's what they call us. You know, but we wasn't DC blacks. We were just DC men. You know, you know, but they had, you know, European whites, Mexican Americans, name it, they had them up there. Samoans, you know, Hawaiians, you know, but they always had one or two or three, but at the same time, they was men, you know, and they had the same tag on their head that we had on our head, that they cannot be controlled. You know, so the only thing we can do is put them in a position so they can kill themselves. So that what they do, they round us all up, put them in one pot, and let it go for it, right? So, you know, and here it is, you have an institution that they put a label, even Congress put a label on it, that we have built the most secure institution in the country We talk about that they were superseded even state institutions. You know, the federal government, they say, man, this is the most secure institution in the nation that we had on the federal level. And you mean to tell me that even with that title, you had more bodies coming out that place than any other institution in the nation at that time? So how did that was being secured? The most secure institution. Okay. The title, they got the title. But all actuality, that wasn't the case. You know, so we still dealing with a system now. We're dealing with a system that the incorruptible, is that the name of the word? Is that pronouncing that right? We talking about incorruptible, or how you pronounce that?
Incorruptible.
There you go. In other words, what that means? That means that here's an individual.
You can't rehabilitate.
That's right.
Yeah.
That's what I'm trying to say.
Mm-hmm.
You know. So you're gonna send a person, an individual man, you know, majority of us, majority DC co-defendants. Majority of us being sent to the most secure institution that the federal government has, because we was deemed on paper to be incorruptible, beyond being saved or rehabilitated. It sent us up there to adapt to a system that they themselves were manipulating for our demise, because that's what it was. So how can you take a most secure institution and the operation of that security is being breached? You see what I'm saying? You know, for somebody else's demise. Hey, that's power there. If you can take something that was locked down and still manipulate it, but guess what though? Now, they shape minds. They shape minds that he is the individual they sent up there. He don't have nothing but his own mind to stay alive. And he himself adapt to that same system they use for his own demise. And he adapt, he adjust, and see the breaches and use the breaches his own self for his own survival. Because that's what was going on. You know, so it was a lot of questions about how people got killed up there. You know, that's the big question, how? Now, how is easy. The procedure in the security system was manipulated and breached. But by who? Not by those who were subject to it. It's by those who was running it. They use it the way they want to use it. You know. They say, Bailey, okay. I had a lieutenant, man, come on the range, man. I was on the C range. You know, in control. Lieutenant come on around. I'm not gonna call no names, none of that. You know what I mean? He come down on the range. You know. So one day, now he come down on the range at a certain time. Every morning. Timing is right every morning at the same time. Every morning, except for the days he off. Come down. He never say nothing. Just come down. And he'll look in, keep walking. Right? So one day, I think one day he come down, this is after maybe about 9 months. About 9 months. We never spoke, nothing. He come down, he stopped. And he looked at me. He say, Bailey. I say, yeah. He say, you know what? He said, you always got to bear in mind that a man that has an organized mind is a dangerous man. So you know what? I say, man, you know what? You must be talking about yourself. Are you talking to me? Are you referring that to me? But if you is, now if you're not, hey, I ain't got nothing to say about that. But if you are, you know, you must be talking. If you're talking to me, you must be talking about yourself. You know. So he said, no, I'm talking to you. So he said, but I'm going to tell you why I said that. He said, every morning, I walk past here. Right? He said, you had your cell. I noticed your cell. Everything is in place. Your floor is clean. Matter of fact, your floor is shining because we used to shine our floor with soap. You know, if you notice, if you put on soap, wash your cell floor with soap, and you put coating on it every day, it'll shine. Soap. And he said, your floor is shining. You know, everything is in this place. That tells me you have an organized mind. I say, yeah. But I'm playing with him now, right? I say, yeah. I said, it has to be a person that has an organized mind to notice that another person has one. You know. So I said, but what's wrong with that, right? He said, ain't nothing wrong with it. You know, there's nothing wrong with it. He said, man, that's all it's about, order. But that's what makes you so dangerous. Because what's in there and how it comes out here and how you arrange things and stuff like that, everything is arranged. That will make you so dangerous. I said, man, you give me lessons every day. I said, you gave me lessons every day for 9 months. When you walked past here and didn't say anything. You ain't had to say nothing for me to know who you are. He said, I like that. So we recognize each other. I said, hey, that's what men do. You know, hey, but it's a line. I said, it's a line. You on that side. I'm on this side. But you a man. And all men are the same. We talking about men. All men are the same. You see what I'm saying? Now a man can have on a uniform same way. Yeah, we can swap uniforms, but we still men. Bottom at the end of the day, we still men. He said, you right about that. He said, that's why I respect, because you got an organized mind. You know. I said, man, respect go a long way, but it has a limit too. I mean, you got to do your job. He said, I like that though. You know. I say, same way you gonna do your job, I'm gonna do mine. So he said, we just broke even ground. I said, man, that's all. He said, my name is such. I said, I know who your name, who you are. You think I don't know who you are? You didn't have to say nothing. For 9 months, you ain't say nothing to me. You see what I'm saying? And I ain't say nothing to you because I ain't had nothing to say to you. And I'm quite sure you ain't had nothing to say to me. You know. So because they had a code, man. They had a code, and it's still like that with the older, men. You know, I don't talk to boys. You know, they don't talk to police. They can identify with that. And matter of fact, the older police, they even tell you before you talk to me, you go get your second man. That's how it was. You don't talk to. You don't talk unless you have your second man. You know, so.